Hey everybody. So I was in here in the leather shop and doing some stuff, and I thought I was making some tops to these rifle slings. These are the tooled upper sections of some rifle slings, and I'm going to tool these out, and I thought I would shoot some video of it. So we took our transfer film and we traced out what we were putting on there, and then you just lay this over the top, and you take a stylus tool like this. This was made by Lether. Anyways, you trace that out on there in this transfer film, which is available from most of the leather supply people. Last time I bought this, because I was buying it from Tandy, because Tandy's was a little heavier duty than what I was buying from Springfield Leather. Springfield Leathers works fine, but Tandy's was a little heavier duty. And last time I bought it, I had a hard time getting it because Tandy said they were talking about discontinuing it, which is just makes absolutely no sense to me whatsoever. But you know, who am I to? I just do this for a living, which I realize they do too, but it's something that's important to my leather work, and I got this piece of tape on here to try and keep me where I need to be centered. This is called a swivel knife, in case you're new and you don't know. And I got two different ones here, and both these are relatively cheap swivel knives. I got some more expensive ones like this, you know, but I tend to actually use these. These are my go-to swivel knives. And this is a cheap Tandy. This is actually my favorite. People talk about in play. Yeah, it's got some in play, but that don't make any difference. Not to me. But that's just something to talk about as far as I'm concerned. I guess if you're really, really good, much better than me, then maybe that makes a difference, but don't make a difference to me. And this is just a strop. It's got a little polishing compound. It's leather. And makes these things sharp as could be. This is one of Tandy's Pro tools, and it's actually the narrow one, and it's not very comfortable for me in my carpal tunnel, so I put one of those pencil things over it, and those kept splitting out, so then I put some tape over it so they wouldn't split out on me. But anyways, we got the tape here to try to keep me centered on here, because I'm terrible about getting off there. But I use this ceramic blade here for long or straight stuff I gotta cut. And I already know how these have to be laid out, because I've made a gazillion of these rifle slings so far, and that's an actual figure, a gazillion. Hopefully you can see some of this. Trying to watch I have a monitor set up next to me, so I can kind of see what's happening. I'm trying to watch it and cut at the same time, which probably isn't a good idea. Anyways, we'll just zip through this real quick. And sometimes when I'm doing the swivel knife stuff, I will change things slightly on purpose if I need a little better curve, or I want to narrow something up, or depends on how I like it to look on that particular day. Okay, there's our first one. Now these were, I usually would case this for 24 hours. I didn't have time for that, so I just put some water on them before I started and let that soak in. You can see that absorbing in there right now. And you need that moisture, at least some moisture in the leather when you're running the swivel knife and tooling. So these are Christmas orders, so I'm in a rush to get them out. And if it was a big tooling project, I would definitely leave it casing overnight. And casing, in case you're new, I guess I didn't explain that, is you're wetting the leather. You let that water get through there about you soak it up there pretty good. Not saturated, but although you can saturate it, and then let it kind of, the water all even out in it, and then dry out till it comes back to, the surface gets back to its regular color. And then I usually put them in a bag and then let them set overnight, and then they'll be properly cased. It's just getting it wet like this is not properly cased in the leather, and it does make, properly cased leather does make a very big difference in your tooling. But shouldn't be too difficult with this. So this one here is handwriting. I've made several rifle slings for this family, and this is a note that one of their family members had passed away, had wrote. He wrote this little thing down, and this is his handwriting. I just transferred it on here, and we're going to cut that in with a swivel knife. And then when we do the antiquing, I got off a little bit right there, but when we bevel that, that'll fix that little mess up I had there. But anyways, he had passed away, and this was some handwriting he had that he scratched down on a note, and I've made several of these slings for the family members with his handwriting on there. And all we're going to do, we're going to take this 1/8 inch, this is an 1/8 inch swivel knife. It's actually a filigree blade, but I use this for just about everything. I've been in a few classes and stuff that I've taken that the teacher's head exploded when I didn't want to use their big fat 1/2 inch swivel knife, which they're very good with. But I can't see around the blade good enough, and it's just not good enough for me for doing detailed stuff. So this was written all in one line, but in order to make it look better on here and have some size to the letters, I split this up a little bit, which they'll be fine with as long as it's his handwriting, which it is. So, and all I'm doing is tracing his handwriting with this swivel knife. And then when I antique this, we're going to stain this, and when I antique it, it will this will show up very well. And I may show the antiquing part too, I don't know. Since I've already drugged the camera and tripod and everything in here and got it all set up, I might do that. So what I probably ought to do is I probably ought to well, I probably should have plugged my phone in to begin with. But let's put a little moisture on these two, and then we'll set them aside. We'll turn them over and set them aside there, excuse me. And then we'll tool these. Hope that blue is not too distracting, but it really does help to kind of keep it in place, so that hopefully I'm not out of okay, so now this down here is going to be a piece of rope. I don't always do these real consistent, but what I'm using is I'm using this lined, you can see that's lined beveler, pointed beveler, And this one is a Tandy tool, and it is F910. And all we're going to do is we're going to place that in there, and we're going to come at the back of it with each impression. So we got one half of our rope, and then we're going to come back the other direction, lining these up best we can, so we got this rope type effect happening here. Okay, there's our rope. Now the next thing we need to do is we got the ends of our rope here, which you can't leave that blocky like that, and so I like to use a lined beveler, a square lined beveler like this. This is another Tandy tool, and it's a B204, and I like to use this on the termination of the rope. So if you can see that, that gives you some little marks on there, makes it look like that rope is terminated or diving in underneath that ledge. It just gives it that appearance and gives it a finished look to the end of your rope. Okay, now we're going to go with some coarse bevelers. This is pretty standard. You don't have to do this. You can use any bevelers that you want. But this is another craft tool beveler. This is a coarse bevelers from Tandy. This one's a B803. And we're just going to run around these along the rope here. Down the bottom side of it. If you do something like this on one of your projects, then you want to do this beveling after after you've done your rope, if you're going to bevel the edges of your rope. You just want to walk your tool along as you're going. Just keep it in there and just keep walking it. So sometimes I throw this on there to help hold the project. I really don't have to. I've gotten so used to holding the project down with this pinky that I really don't need that weight. It can be helpful though. And this is just a piece of buffalo leather, and it's filled with BBs. And that's what makes that up, and it's pretty heavy. Alright, so now we're beveled. We need a little more moisture in here. Now we're not doing anything where this is anything else to that at all, other than we're going to add some backgrounding to this whole thing. And this is what that tool looks like right there. Let me get it in there. That's it. And let's see. These are in different sizes. So there's two of them like this here, and this is a M882. It's a matting tool, and it just leaves these pebble marks in there. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to give this whole thing some texture other than where the writing's at. And I don't want this perfect. I want a little up and down. Okay. And then we're going to come back with this, which is a Craft Tool E294-03. Now I don't know how this is Z-E294, and they're just another backgrounding type tool, texturing tool, and I just use that kind of at random. I don't always use it, but it gives a little bit more rugged look when it's done, and it holds, those little indentions hold more antique. All right, now we're gonna spin around here, and I've got two camouflage tools. These tools here are called camouflage tools. This one is a C431, and this is a C453. And I change these up sometimes, but this gives us a came right in a corner with the small one, and then came over it with a bigger one here, which gives us that little sunburst effect. This is my personal tooling style, and I do this on a lot of my rifle slings, and you most definitely don't have to do that. And I would suggest coming up with your own particular style that fits you, which most people, if they stick with it long enough and you're not just using stamps, then oh yeah, by the way, so let's talk about this plastic, or this tape. This tape is 2 to 3 layers thick, and I put it on there, just packing tape, and then I smooth it down with my glass slicker, and it sticks to the bottom, and that helps prevent the leather from stretching. Now, I've seen people try to say, well, they work around the stretch. Baloney. If that's what you're doing, I mean, not to be a jerk, but you just don't know what you're doing. You need something on there to keep it from stretching. You can't tool one direction and then tool the other direction to push it in. That's just nonsense. There's several ways you can back your project, and any of those ways are fine. Rubber cement with not contact cement, but rubber cement with cardboard works well. The cardboard actually lets the impression go a little bit deeper because of the impression of the leather, especially on thin leather like this. You can do the rubber cement with the cardboard, like a thick piece of cardboard on the back. Not like a corrugated cardboard, but a solid piece, because the corrugated is too smushy. But it'll actually let the impressions indent some through the backside into the cardboard and let you have a little bit deeper impressions. But there's our first one. Let's do this one. I basically got the tools I'm using laid out here in front of me. Most of them anyways. I put some of them away. Alright, so we're going back to the rope. In fact, I might tool these last two together at the same time in stages. Then we'll just put the tools away as we go, and you're just setting this tool setting this tool right down here in this crack here, and you can see that tool, this edge right here, line up with that other impression that you made. Which, if you do that, I don't pay as close attention to it. I've done so many of these, but if you line that up, then your impression will come straight across. And you can change them up a little bit, just a little bit. But once you get to do them, you'll get used to doing that. And then again, we're finishing the end of our rope. A lot of people do this like with a checker tool, and it just don't look right, because this looks more like like the rope just goes underneath, because you got them lines like you would see in the rope, right? So I really do have to work on my leather work portion of this channel. It's kind of turned into the flintknapping channel. And most of my followers are flint nappers, but I think some of my flint napping followers probably like to see some leather work also. But anyways, it was intended to be have leather work and bees and just be kind of a video blog, different things happening in my life, or whatever, that places that we travel to, things like that. But the channel's still evolving. It's been less than 5 months, I think, or maybe it's been right about 5 months we launched it. And right now in 5 months, I have put out over 200 videos with an average video length of about an hour. There's some shorts in there and stuff like that, but there's an awful lot of videos that are over an hour. So I would think the average is about an hour. So that's, in 5 months, got 200 hours of video to watch. Granted that they're not all fantastic, but it's a learning curve. I've only been at this 5 months, so. Okay, we're going to spin around this one and get that part of the beveling done. My finger sticking to the tape, which was turning it. And this is what I consider production tooling, I guess. I got a semi-custom production shop, I guess. I do this for a living, full-time, have for the last 13 years, I guess. And I send out a lot of products out here every year. I mean, a lot. And I'm not going to give you any details of financial stuff, of course, but you know, I probably go through on average every year about $30,000 in materials, which in a leather shop, which is a lot when you consider it's a one-man shop. This year was probably my slowest year. It was still a good year, but I've had a lot of time off, and a lot of that is because, well, I had back surgery, and L2, 3, and 4 fusion, and the recovery time from that has been much longer than I thought. I'm having a lot of problems with it still now, and that was a couple months ago. And right now we're working on getting things set up to do surgery on my neck, which I'm not sure exactly what's going to happen with it yet. I think it's going to be another fusion, but it'd be great if there was another solution, but I don't know if there is. I hear the neck's not as bad as the back. I also heard you got to wear one of them things on your head, that halo thing, for way longer than I would want to. I don't know if you have to wear it all the time or what, but let's see here. I feel like I'm missing a... I am. There it is, right there. I found it. I've kind of been out of the leather shop, so like I said, because that surgery for a couple months, and I mean, I've messed around, done some little stuff, but had some other things going on. Too, some family things, and okay, so we're gonna go ahead and background this. So this is just a piece of canvas, and it's a very specific canvas. It's not waxed. You don't want waxed, and it's not too rough and it's not too smooth, but it really makes a difference. It can really smooth your tooling out. You run that over it like that. So that's what I use that little canvas thing for, if you see me using it. Once these Christmas orders are all done, then I'll have a little more time, and I'll make some more leather videos and be able to take the time to shoot from different angles and things like that, and all that good stuff. So some stuff in there. I don't always do this double sunburst here, but, and I don't always use this border tool along here either. Sometimes I'll use different ones, but I'm kind of fond of the camouflage tool for this purpose around these in this particular projects, but okay, that's that. In case you're new, this is called a beveler. This is a Barry King beveler. If you're going to invest some money in some decent tools, invest in good bevelers. These and these closed radius bevelers like this are the two you need, and most likely you'll probably never need anything other than size 2 and 3. These are size 2, and I got a set of size 3 up there, and that's the main ones that I use. Yeah, I'm only beveling part of this because the part that's going to attach and make contact with the sling, I need this to be square because it's going to get sanded and finished when I do the rifle slings. But anyways, that's 2 of them. Let's finish this one and finish this thing up here. you can't really see through my hand. Not quite sure if I can remedy that or not. Let me see what I can do. Okay, now I'm not sure that angle is going to help any. Doesn't appear like it. No, you still can't see what I'm doing, I guess. I guess you can there a little bit, but it's got me at a really awkward position. Hold on, let's try this again. Alright, I don't know if that's going to help or not. But that was a lot of work to get that in that position, so. Yeah. Don't know if that's helping or not. I'll probably have to come at this with a couple of different beveling tools to get in all this little detail. This is an antler font. Alright, so I'm going to take this little modeling tool. I'm going to run this around the edge of my tooling here. Kind of clean it up, round it out a little bit. Back with her. Now they make a third tool that goes with this backgrounding tool, and it is this right here, which is much smaller and allows you to get into these little spots. And by backgrounding, what the backgrounding is doing is it's pushing the background, exactly that, it's pushing the background back and bringing your tooling more pronounced into the top. As you can see on this one, hopefully. Yeah, maybe if I can figure out how to get it in this thing. You can see this lip, right? So, let me get something there. So you can see this lip right here, and that's pretty pronounced. So it's raised up quite a bit above the surface, and has that effect because all this background has been pushed back, which brought all this forward. Anyhow, that's how that works. This customer requested this antler font, and they wanted it to run across this way rather than up and down or diagonal or any of that stuff. So add a little more random texture, and then we're going to put our texture and background tools away. Get them out of the road. You have seen me use this earlier. This is also a backgrounding tool, and it is A104. It's another Tandy tool. I use a lot of Tandy tools. I also have a lot of Berry King tools that I use too, but for professional tools, or what I'd call professional quality tools, I say that, but like I just told you, I got a bunch of Tandy tools that I still use, and I prefer over any other manufacturer. But as far as professional quality tools, Berry King's probably, in my opinion, gives you the most bang for your buck. Some of those are pretty outrageous. Some of them are $80 or $100 for a single tool, and you can't see my thing here, but I've got hundreds of stamps up there. It just costs you a fortune to buy all those. $100 a piece, or $80 to $100 a piece, but Berry Kings are, as more expensive ones are $50, I think, but a lot of them are $35, so they're more affordable. You still got a substantial investment made there, but anyways, that is the tooling for all of our pieces, and I'm gonna have to move this back again so that I can show you all of them. And we're at 38 minutes, so that's a pretty good place to stop this video. And I probably won't show the staining or dyeing of it. Hold on just one. Well, I can get them here maybe. Let me zoom out just a little bit here. Okay, we're zoomed back out a little bit, so we can film the rest of it right here. But there's our pieces right there that we just did, and well, that's difficult to get get that into frame the way the camera's set up. I hope it doesn't look too terribly goofy on the thing when I'm done. But there's our pieces. I'll probably put a photograph of these after the dyeing's done, so you can just see what they look like. But and then I'll do a dyeing video later. But all right, I'm gonna dye these, and I'll come back after they're dyed and antiqued. I may even film that part. All right.